Chapter 8. And after this it came to pass that Daud smote the Philistines, and subdued them. And Daud took Metheg-Ammah out of the hand of the Philistines. And he smote Moab, and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he, to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep aloof. And so the Moabites became Daud's servants, and brought gifts.
Daud smote also Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, as he went to recover his border at the river Euphrates. And Daud took from him 1,000 chariots, and 700 horsemen, and 20,000 footmen. And Daud held all the chariot horses, but reserved of them for 100 chariots. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to succor Hadadezer king of Zobah, Daud slew of the Syrians 22,000 men. Then Daud put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to Daud, and brought gifts, and the Lord preserved Daud whithersoever he went. And Daud took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadadezer, and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Beta and from Berothai, cities of Hadadezer, King Daud took exceeding much brass.
When Toi king of Hamath heard that Daud had smitten all the host of Hadadezer, then Toi sent Joram his son unto King Daud to salute him, and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer, and smitten him, for Hadadezer had wars with Toi. And Joram brought with him vessels of silver, and vessels of gold, and vessels of brass, which also King Daud did dedicate unto the Lord, with the silver and gold that he had dedicate of all nations which he subdued, of Syria, and of Moab, and of the children of Ammon, and of the Philistines, and of Amalek, and of the spoil of Hadadezer son of Rehob king of Zobah. And Daud gave him a name when he returned from smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Salt, being 18,000 men.
And he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom put he garrisons. And all they of Edom became Daud's servants, and the Lord preserved Daud whithersoever he went. And Daud reigned o'er all Israel, and Daud executed judgment and justice unto all his people. And Iob the son of Syria was o'er the host, and Jehoshaphat the son of Ahilud was recorder. And Zadok the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech the son of Abiathar were the priests, and Sariah was the scribe. And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was o'er both the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and Daud's sons were chief rulers.
Chapter 9. And Daud said, Is there yet any that is left of the house of Saul, that I may shew him kindness for Jonathan's sake? And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. And when they had called him unto Daud, the king said unto him, Art thou Ziba? And he said, Thy servant is he. And the king said, Is there not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may shew the kindness of God unto him? And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan hath yet a son, which is lame on his feet. And the king said unto him, Where is he? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he is in the house of Machir the son of Ammiel, in Lodebar.
Then King Daud sent, and fed him out of the house of Machir, the son of Ammiel, from Lodebar. Now when Mephibosheth the son of Jonathan the son of Saul was come unto Daud, he fell on his face, and did reverence, and Daud said, Mephibosheth. And he answered, Behold thy servant.
And Daud said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely shew thee kindness, for Jonathan thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. And he bowed himself, and said, What is thy servant, that thou shouldest look on such a dead dog as I am?
Then the king called to Ziba Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have drew unto thy master's son all that pertained to Saul, and to all his house. Thou therefore and thy sons, and thy servants, shall till the land for him, and thou shalt bring in the fruits, that thy master's son may have food to eat, but Mephibosheth thy master's son shall eat bread alway at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons, and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, According to all that my lord the king hath commanded his servant, So shall thy servant do. As for Mephibosheth, said the king, he shall eat at my table as one of the king's sons. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah, and all that dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, for he did eat continually at the king's table, and was lame on both his feet.
Chapter 10. And it came to pass after this, that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanan his son reigned in his stead. Then said Daud, I will shew kindness unto Hanan the son of Nahash, as his father shewed kindness unto me. And Daud sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants, for his father. And Daud's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanan their lord, Thinkest thou that Daud doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Hath not Daud rather sent his servants unto thee, to search the city, and to spy it out, and to o'erthrow it? Wherefore Hanan took Daud's servants, and shot off the one half of their beards, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told it unto Daud, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, Tarry at Jericho till your beards be grown, and then return.
And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before Daud, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-rehob, and the Syrians of Zobah 20,000 footmen, and of King Maacah 1,000 men, and of Ishtub 12,000 men. And when Daud heard of it, he sent Ioab, and all the host of the mighty men. And the children of Ammon came out, and put the Bethel in array at the entering in of the gate, and the Syrians of Zobah and of Rehob, and Ishtub, and Maacah, were by themselves in the field. When Ioab saw that the front of the Bethel was against him, before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel, and put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered into the hand of Abishai his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon. And he said, If the Syrians be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me, but if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will come and help thee. Be of good courage, and let verses play the men, for our people, and for the cities of our God, and the Lord do that which seemeth him good. And Ioab drew nigh, and the people that were with him went to the Bethel against the Syrians, and they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, then fled they also before Abishai, and entered into the city. So Ioab returned from the children of Ammon, and came to Jerusalem.
And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together. And Hadarezer sent, and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the Ruhr. And they came to Helam, and Shobach the captain of the host of Hadarezer went before them. And when it was told Daud, he gathered all Israel together, and passed o'er Iordan, and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in array against Daud, and fought with him. And the Syrians fled before Israel, and Daud slew the men of Su 100 chariots of the Syrians, and 40,000 horsemen, and smote Shobach the captain of their host, who died there. And when all the kings that were servants to Hadarezer saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel, and seared them. So the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon any more.
Chapter 11. And it came to pass that after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to Bethel, that Daud sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah, but Daud tarried still at Jerusalem.
And it came to pass in an evening tide, that Daud rose from off his bed, and walked on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look on. And Daud sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And Daud sent messengers, and took her, and she came in unto him. And he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived, and sent and told Daud, and said, I am with child.
And Daud sent to Job, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Job sent Uriah to Daud. And when Uriah was come unto him, Daud demanded of him how Job did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And Daud said to Uriah, Go down to thy house, and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. And when they had told Daud, saying Uriah went not down unto his house, Daud said unto Uriah, Camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thine house? And Uriah said unto Daud, The ark, and Israel, and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Job, and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink, and to lie with my wife? As thou luest, and as thy soul lueth, I will not do this thing. And Daud said to Uriah, Tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day, and the morrow. And when Daud had called him, he did eat and drink before him. And he made him drunk, and at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house.
And it came to pass in the morning, that Daud wrote a letter to Job, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten, and die. And it came to pass when Job observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out, and fought with Job, and there fell some of the people of the servants of Daud, and Uriah the Hittite died also.
Then Job sent, and told Daud all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, When thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, Wherefore approached ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight? Knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbaal? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebes? Why went ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, Thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also.
So the messenger went, and came and shewed Daud all that Job had sent him for. And the messenger said unto Daud, Surely the men prevailed against verses, and came out unto verses into the field. And we were fond them you unto the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from off the wall fond thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Then Daud said unto the messenger, Thus shalt thou say unto Job, Let not this thing displease thee, for the sword doeth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and o'erthrow it, and encourage thou him.
And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, Daud sent, and fed her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that Daud had done displeased the Lord.